So you just put simplify contours in there. Can you show us how you might use that one, for instance?
Sure. I've actually got a file here that's already open, and that file is one that I made to show how the Simplify Curve plugin works. So this is a file, a typical CAD file that you might get when you're talking about contours, 3D CAD lines in Sketchup when you import them. A lot of folks pretty early on realize that you've got import options for DXF and DWG files, so they start working with CAD pretty early on.
Okay.
But something that you don't realize right away with contour lines is that these contour lines are broken up into a whole bunch of tiny little pieces, and when you go to try to generate a contour surface out of that, you can end up with a really big file size, something that's going to start slowing your machine down. So the Simplify Contours tool is a really great tool for simplifying these curves before you start generating surfaces out of them.
Okay.
So all you need to do is select the contour line or lines and go up to, now we should have plugins. There it is, Simplify Contours. Click on that. And what it's asking me for is an angle or a degree value. Okay. And what it's going to do, you'll see here, I entered in a degree value of 10, which is pretty good. You don't want to go too much higher than that or your CAD lines are going to start getting really angular.
Okay.
So angle degree 10, click OK, and you'll see that with this CAD line, if I undo back, I'm just going to hit the undo arrow and pay attention to this line. If I hit undo, you can see it gets, actually it's this one down here, you can see it gets a little bit more detailed or a little bit less detailed. And you can see that it's all one line now.
Okay.
I'm going to right click and say explode curve, just so that you can see where we had a bunch of tiny little segments. See how that's all been merged into one large segment?
Okay.
A lot better, a lot easier.
Wow.
A line like this is now broken up, or sorry, not broken up into one larger segment now.
Got it.
This cuts down on the number of polygons. It also makes it a little bit faster and a little bit easier to use.
Got it. Okay, so that's a good way to kind of simplify before you start modeling all your faces on there.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So you've also got a couple others, I think, that are on your top 5 favorite rubies. Let's maybe hit one or two more of them.
I've got like 20 or 30 that I can show you, but top 5 list has got to include probably Make Faces for sure. Make Faces is a plugin that when I show people, I usually get like a really great response. So I'll show you that one next. If I go up to, let's see, I think I had that one open recently too. Yep. Make Faces. Now again, another example that I put together, just really basic to illustrate kind of what it looks like when sometimes you bring in like a really simple floor plan from AutoCAD. Now anyone who's used SketchUp and AutoCAD together or tried to import DXF or DWGs gets the situation where when you bring it in, they're just all lines.
Right.
If you've looked at our beginning DVD or our level 1 DVD, or if you've looked at some other tutorials, you've probably figured out that you could take the pencil tool and trace over any one of these lines to get the surfaces to fill back in. Now in this case it might not be too big of a deal. It might take you a couple minutes here to get all these surfaces to fill in so that you can start using push-pull and stuff. But on a really complex plan, just that process of getting the surfaces to fill in could take 20-30 minutes.
Or like an hour. I've definitely spent time trying to line up each line.
I think we've probably all been there at some point. With the Make Faces plugin, if I just undo back here real quick, all lines, if I take the select tool, I can select all of those lines and then just go up to, select all those lines, and then just go up to Tools, Make Faces, and bingo. All of those lines, as long as those lines meet up from corner to corner, right? As long as they meet up perfectly at the corners, it's just going to turn all those lines into surfaces straight away. Now I can just take push-pull, and I can pull those surfaces up to get my walls.
That's incredible. I mean, that was what, 10 seconds instead of the hour.
Yeah. So definitely a time saver there. And I mean, this combined with a few other really great tips and tricks can get you going to where you're working with SketchUp and AutoCAD just a lot more fluidly, a lot more time effective.
Right. Okay. And there was one more from that list of your favorites. He was telling me about this one before. It sounded pretty cool.
It is another good one. Yeah.
We were on the contours earlier, so kind of similar to the landscape.
Seconds left. So if I go up to Open Recent, this is one called Drop. Another good one for landscapers or pretty much anyone who's ever had to take a bunch of trees and try to place those trees down onto an undulating surface one at a time. This is a Ruby script that cuts down on that.
If you rotate here, we can see that this is kind of, okay, so it's a really curved surface, but we've got one grid of trees.
Exactly, a curved surface with a grid of trees if you look at it from above. So if you wanted to keep a grid and plan,
Right.
but still get those trees at the right elevation points on an undulating surface.
You don't have to do it one by one with the
Not
move tool.
one by one, exactly. Okay. So what we're going to do here is just take the select tool, select all those trees, and then right click on those trees. And you can see with the drop plugin, there's an option now that says drop at intersection. Click on that, and all those trees get dropped right onto the topo surface, right where they intersect with that curved surface. So
that's pretty good. That another big time saver, and that's what a lot of these Ruby tools end up being, is people developing little snippets of code that save you those hours or sometimes 2 hours or 3. So
yeah, scripting is nothing new. You find it in a lot of programs. You find it in Photoshop. You find it in AutoCAD. Any kind of mundane thing that you find yourself having to do over and over and over again, like putting one tree down, then another tree, then another tree. If someone else has had to do that and also knows a little bit about Ruby scripting, chances are they might have gone in and tried to save themselves some time by just turning it into a script. And there's all kinds of different scripts available online on those websites. And we've listed some of our favorites on our website, and also the websites that you can go to check out those of your own.
All right. Well, thanks, Mike. Thanks for stopping by. Again, as Mike has been mentioning, on our website we'll have all of these Ruby scripts, the websites that they're on, and a lot of other helpful tips and tricks to get more out of this podcast. But thanks for spending some time with us, and that's it for now. See ya.
See you guys.